We're going to give you a first look at electrical progress on our building today. We got the power company here, we got my electrician here. Big changes happening on our dream shop. Let's get started. Back in our planning videos, we showed you that we intended to move our meter from the back side of our house over to the new shop area. Now I can actually show you where that new meter is. Before it was just on a rendering, right? Well, we dug into it a little bit further and we're doing a little honeydew aspect at the same time. So the prior transformer box was right there where those three guys are, and we are moving the transformer over here. We had to get a different transformer anyway, so the only additional work was lengthening these wires. So they made an underground splice here. They're heating it now. And you'd say, why did we want to move that transformer? Like I say, that's a honeydew thing from my standpoint. When we eat breakfast in the mornings, or anytime we sit at our table and we look out at our nice pond, the old transformer was right in the way. And we probably could have dealt with that because it was a little bit off to the side. But the initial proposal for the new transformer was to move it another 10 or 15 feet toward the driveway. We were going to have to splice to keep it even in the same position. So once we figured out we were going to have to do this underground splice, we just requested them to move it another 15, 20 feet. Yeah, it cost me another $700. It's probably worth it. At least marital bliss, right? That's pretty cost-effective marital bliss. So the high voltage line is just one line, right?
Yeah, that one we just spliced right there.
Right. And then right in here, wherever we can get far back on this 4/0, we'll need to cut that 4/0 off that we're abandoning. The center is your aluminum conductor, and then there's an layer of insulation, and then the outside copper is the neutral, and then it's just a protective jacket around that.
So the inner cable doesn't look to be that big. What size is it?
This is number 2 aluminum.
Okay.
So, yeah, the high voltage doesn't.
And because it's high voltage, then you don't have to have near as big a wire.
Correct.
As what we do once we get past the transformer. Yep. 7,200 volts?
That's correct. 7,200 in, 120, 240 out.
That'd make your day if you got a good shock with that, right?
Or it'd end it.
Make your last day, yeah. Now we just got a new meter, one of those new digital meters, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago. Time flies, I'm not sure how long it's been. But what we've decided to do here is just once they take this meter out, they're just going to put a cap on this. Just the way this is all sealed around these bricks and everything, I think I'd rather have the box just left there than taken off. I would have holes in the brick. I think that's the best approach. And who knows, we may want to separate and have separate meters at some point. I could envision us, I don't know, it costs a lot of money now because then they'd have to come back and run wires around here. But for now, I wanted it all on one meter because I wanted the reduction in cost, right? I didn't want to have to pay separate meter fee for each service. So over here is where the meter's going to be. And then we've got 2 disconnects, one on each side. One of them is for the house side, and that's the one you see wired up right now. You can see the aluminum coming out of the bottom of that disconnect right there. And that's actually going all the way through the attic to the house.
It's the product you want to put on your aluminum wire if you're using aluminum wire.
Yeah.
Keep it from oxidizing.
A lot of folks just have a fit about using aluminum in a house. Well, there's reasons for that, but there's really no alternative for the big wires, right? Running this 200 amp service all the way through the house, there's really no alternative. I mean, I don't have a big enough pocketbook to buy 2/0 copper to run all the way through the house. You make me a loan?
What?
Will you make me a loan?
What's the interest on that?
Oh.
We talk interest first before I make the loan.
I think just from that discussion, I don't have any interest.
well, okay, I got your point.
This is the back side here where that, this is 4/0, 4/0, 4/0, 2/0 aluminum. And that's going all the way up through here. Yeah, it looks a little hokey now because we're going to be doing something different with it in the future. I'll just show you that now. Right now that big cable is running right through the attic, and it still will run through the attic. Notice there's some extra here. There's also extra on the house end. Dave and Christy and I pulled that cable the length of the house so that the electrician wouldn't have to. But right now it's connected directly to that disconnect, and it won't be in the long term. In the long term, it'll be connected to the EG4 grid boss right here, to the backup loads section there. But we have to pass inspection this morning in order to get our power turned back onto our house. And really all we need for that is that disconnect and yeah, what you see wired up below there. So, and there is disadvantage to bringing the grid boss or bosses online at this point, and that is I can't really put these walls on. I've went ahead and put up a little bit of my fire rated drywall back here, but I may end up having to take that out because I need to spray foam back there. And got a little bit of a chicken and egg issue trying to figure out how to handle that. I hung them up there I thought I would get started wiring on them, but I'm second guessing what to do and when to do it on that point. So the way we're going to get around that is just wire the house directly. The shop will not be ready to go at all, except we will wire it to the disconnect downstairs. So all we have to do is disconnect that, and then we can do whatever we want beyond the disconnect without involving the power company. Dave, turn them ISO tunes off. Hey, that brings up a good point. There's a Labor Day sale going on. Yeah, it's after Labor Day, I know. Ends today, September 7th, 15% off. You click the link right there in the description. You don't need them because you already got some. Mm-hmm. But you can get 15% off. You do have to sign up for the email list.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's not that bad.
No. ISO tunes, you like them?
I do like them.
You can hear me?
I can hear you. They're sound deadening, which is nice.
Yeah, but the only thing is you just touch one side and the music stops.
Absolutely. And then there's the other side you can make the volume go up on.
Okay.
There's a couple of different features, depending on how many times you click it and all that. It all explains it in the little pamphlet they give you.
Hey, check them out. Link in the description, 15% off. We struggled on where to put this meter, and we settled on this point here, even though it's right on the front side of the house. But so far it hasn't bothered us too much. We actually think it's, even though it's right on the front, it's sort of hidden because it's sideways to the front view. It would have been better if we could have done it on the back side, but even if we had buried the wire deep, they wouldn't allow us to run that wire under the house. Sort of makes sense. Now there's where that big cable comes in to my main panel here. If you've watched us for a long time, this is where we did the generator interlock approach last fall. And then in order to get that cable in, I just had no choice. I had to cut out a big area of drywall there. It was very, very stiff, very, very difficult. And Christy was the one that had to crawl in the attic to try to stuff that down in that hole. That was not easy. I could not have done it without her. Let's take a look at some of the other wiring I've done. Obviously, I'm not done here yet, not even close. But what we're trying to do is prepare for some high bay lighting. What I'm going to do here is put some just regular electrical outlets on the ceiling, just one duplex at each of these locations. I'm going to have 3 rows of high bays, one under each of these seams. You see these steel pressed seams, and there's 3 rows of them. So there, and there. We're going to put a high bay every 8 foot on each of those rows. But with these large lights, I can't put too many on a circuit. So what I'm doing to make it extra complex is I'm thinking that sometimes I'm going to want less light than others. I could do the dimmer concept, there's no question about that. I did that in my old shop with marginal results, a good bit of work and marginal results. What I'm going to do instead is, even though it's costing me more wire, I'm going to distribute which lights come on, which are on each circuit, right? So I'm not going to do it regionally within the shop. I'm going to have some of the lights come on with one circuit and another offsetting bunch with the second circuit, and then the third circuit for the rest of them. The black wires that you see coming down there and there are larger wires. That's 6-3 copper. It's expensive stuff. 50 amp circuits there, one for the furnace that's going to go on a shelf up here, and this one is going to be for the pressure washer. For the furnace, I'll probably just have some sort of a knife switch to disable the power there, or maybe just one of those pull-out fuse thingies, I don't know. Over here, I'm going to just put an outlet on the wall up there and plug in the washer with a pigtail. I've begun putting some of the main trunk lines for outlets here, but I don't have near all of that done yet. Got a lot of stuff going on here in this corner. This is where the walk-in door is. People are always talking about the security here. Well, if someone wants to break in, they're going to break in no matter what, so I'm not too worried about that. But what I've got going electrically here is these are the lines to the high bay circuits. The purple is 12-3 with ground between the two switches. That's right, we're going to have three-way switches, going to have a switch at this end and then a switch at the other walk-in door. And then I've got two other circuits here. One I'm going to dedicate to the big airplane door. I don't know if I need to or not, but that's what I'm going to do. And then the other one is going to be for outlets here in this corner. This is the other end of that three-way switch right here. Now, I could have done this with home automation. I really wouldn't have been forced to run that extra 12-3 wire. I could do it all remotely with software. I could have just put switches at the other end, not connected to anything but power, right? And then those switches could have controlled this via software. Would have been probably less expensive, especially since I'm going to put in the smart switches anyway. But one of my rules on home automation is the dumb switches and the dumb switch approach has to continue to work. The last thing I want is for some automation to go down some night right when I'm getting ready to go to bed and I can't turn the lights off, right? That would be incredibly frustrating. So just one of my general rules is the dumb approach has to continue to work, and that's the way we're designing it. Let's talk a little bit about technology. We're up here on the second floor mezzanine again, and this is what I'm going to use to land all of my Cat 6 cables. These are cameras, a couple of them are already plugged in. Eventually I'll put my rack that I recently bought up here, and there won't be far to go for those. In the intermediate time, I can't have the rack up here because I have no power. So that rack is in my living room, and I've got right now 4 Cat 6 cables running from here to my living room, and that's what you're seeing the jumpers here for. 2 of them I've already used for a couple of cameras. People would say, well, why don't you just use Wi-Fi? Why do you need the Cat 6 cables? You have to have some sort of cable, either power or Cat 6, right? So for a lot of the smart devices I'm getting, they are power over Ethernet. Specific examples are the doorbell and the cameras, and then the Wi-Fi access points themselves are power over Ethernet. So yeah, I'm going to have a lot of power supplied by the switch itself. Well, let's take a look at that doorbell. Yeah, here's the doorbell. It's from Ubiquiti. I think it's a G4 doorbell, maybe Pro. I'm not sure whether it's a doorbell or doorbell Pro. It's got 2 cameras, camera up here. It's also got another camera down here or somewhere here for package detection. And it can detect packages all the way out to the end of the step right out here. No problem at all on that. Got our logo on there. Isn't that cool? It identifies packages and people and cars, and I get notifications anytime someone comes to the door. Right now, the delay I'm seeing is too much for me to actually respond to someone, so I've got to put some more effort into that, but I'll do so before I really get in depth explaining to you what I'm doing. Now here's the rack I was telling you about. Finally felt like I've got to get a little more formal with this after all these years. But this is our new Ubiquiti router here with the video system, as well as this is the switch. And all of these are power over Ethernet. Pretty cool looking, huh? Now these are two Synology RAID systems. It's an opportunity here for some behind the scenes stuff that you typically wouldn't see on this channel. I don't have a reason typically to show you stuff like this on a tractor channel, right? But since we're doing this electrical work now, and it just seems like a good time to kind of talk about this, because there's some of you that are interested. We've got every video clip that we've ever shot on this channel is stored right there. And there's another one just like it below that backs up all of that. So if we have major hard drive failure, the other one should have it. The only thing that backup doesn't handle for us is a case of fire, right? It really would be better if it were off-site, or maybe even if we put it out in the shop, put one of them out in the shop and one inside. We may do that at some point. But in case you're wondering, we have about 80 terabytes of storage in each of those. That's 80 terabytes of usable storage in each one of those. And I think we have somewhere around 65 terabytes of actual video that we've stored already over the 10 years we've been doing this. So it's a lot of video. There's no way that we could sit down and watch all that video, but we do occasionally go back and search and find specific clips that we want to kind of include in new videos. Is it really worth keeping it all? I don't know, but it's kind of fascinating. Hey, we went to a trade show several years ago in Louisville, and we were in the Ventrac booth, and they said, hey, do you want this sign when we're done? I said, sure. Here's a little car from Christy's childhood. And that car was made just about 10 or 15 miles from where I grew up, even though it was 12 hours away from where she grew up. She had the little car. Pretty cool.
So we have one of our young apprentices here who's in the learning process of climbing. So this is a good, safe spot for him here in the yard to get some experience and do a little bit of learning about what climbing's all about. So he's got the hooks on his feet, which is what he's stepping into the pole with. And then the device that is around the pole is a safety device, so that where if he were to fall or lose his footing, it would cinch to the pole and he wouldn't come all the way to the ground.
Once he gets his feet in good, he leans forward, and that takes the pressure off of that device.
Yep, releasing the cinch aspect, sliding it up the pole, and then just repeating those steps over and over again.
He's got a real challenge now because, oh, he got it. He had to get over that guard.
So every pole's got its own little set of challenges that you have to figure out as you're going. And so, like I said, this is a good, safe spot for him to do some learning.
Yeah, now I can get my excavator and come over and push the pole over.
Yeah. Either that or we'll just pull it with our truck. You're working within a range of your hips to your chest with your, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a gallop, you know? It's like right now you're almost, as you're trying to slide up, you're still a little leaned back. It's almost like you're loping up the pole, right?
Yeah.
How you feel?
Fine.
Fine?
You're lying. I've been here before, but
Well,
I've been there before.
I'm not used to pulling, I don't know.
I hope that old pole can hold him.
He'll be all right. Yeah.
Probably 30-year-old pole.
And if not, we don't have that much in him yet.
Expendable. Some of you may be old enough to remember these mercury vapor lights that the power company used to rent to rural customers. This was back in the day when they were trying to get us to use more power instead of less power. We've never used this one, and, well, today's the day to take it down.
Got it?
He's being a good sport, though. He's taking all your resin just fine.
Well, that's his only option.
It's hard to walk off the job when you can't get down. Why do you want it high? Keeps it from tipping? Okay. The part that was underground's better shape than the part that was above ground.
Well, we don't have anything that could do that.
No, that's really nice. I need one of those.
Oh, bother.
Center of gravity on that post is,
Yeah, it's bigger at the, fatter at the ground end, right?
all trees are, right? But it's also in a lot better shape down there and a lot wetter.
Good job. Up. Get off.
That's why their trucks are so expensive.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
there's-
purpose built.
Dave's here today loading stuff up for me. We've got several things going. Christy's pulling weeds, probably in a place that doesn't matter because I have to mess all of that up to fill in these trenches. We're almost ready to fill this in. A lot of things going on. We really appreciate you sticking with us and watching our property develop and our lives kind of develop.
I don't like morning glories. I had to pull these as a little kid.
Okay. We'll have more about our electrical. We'll have more about our entire building project. Less about morning glories, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.
His divine power has given us everything we need for a godly life through our knowledge of Him who called us by His own glory and goodness.